The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sandy Anastasi, and I just want to welcome everyone to my November Psychic Hour. This time of year is absolutely my favorite time of the year because we're moving into the holiday season. And so, as we gather together this evening from wherever we're all from, I just want to express my own gratitude that 2017 is sort of limping to a close. And I think we're going to have this most wonderful year ahead of us in 2018. So I'm just beginning this holiday season with this sense of joy and gratitude, and certainly very, very, very happy to see all of you here online with me this evening. And welcome, everyone. We're going to have a great time. Before we get started, I have a couple of announcements, as I usually do, kind of housekeeping things. And here we go. First of all, I'm assuming that if you're here this evening, you have already signed up for my newsletter. But just in case, please make sure that you're on my newsletter, that you get it automatically sent to your email box each month. For a couple of reasons. One, because it's a great newsletter, which at least I think so. Two, is that I've got so many things coming up as we move through the fall that you're going to be finding out about because you're on my newsletter. I've got Black Friday specials and Christmas specials and New Year's specials with readings and some really great opportunities. And I want you to be able to receive them. So make sure you're signed up for my newsletter. And whenever you sign up for my newsletter, I give you a free downloadable MP3 and audio meditation. And the one I've got up there right now is self-healing. It's an absolutely fabulous recording to have that you can use for all of your life, and you will own it. Okay, it'll be yours. So make sure you're on my newsletter. Okay, that's number one. I also have changes coming up in my website, which I'm really, really excited about. My web team and I have been working on this for almost a year, and we're that close to the end. And of course, the way these things work out, it usually is the case that the site's going to be in a state of transition right at the holiday season. Okay, so just to be on the safe side, again, I want you to be sure that you're getting my newsletter in your inbox, because the newsletter is independent of the website and it's going to keep going out. Okay, so I want to make absolutely certain that even if I have any glitches with my website as we transfer into the new website, that everybody here knows what's going on before anybody else does. Okay, now, announcements of stuff coming up. Everybody here knows about my psychic cruise that's happening at the end of this month. We've been planning this one for more than a year. And Pat Frank is the organizer. And of course, Lisa Freeman and myself will be on board. I will be doing a messages session on board. Yes, talking to your guides, also talking to dead people. I only do that on board, though, when I take that psychic cruise. So this is your chance to see what I do when I speak to the other side. Also, we're going to be taking a tour to the Green Grotto Caves, and we're going to be doing an earth-oriented ritual right in the caves. So that's going to be really super exciting. And we have drumming circles and sunset meditations and lots of fun, because you're with a group of psychics the whole time that you're on board. So if you haven't registered yet, there's still that much time to be able to get your name in and still get in with our group. I'm talking about maybe a couple of days. Lisa would know the exact cutoff date. It's really, really close right now. But if you haven't registered and you want to be on the water with us this November, the cruise goes from November 25th to December 2nd. And, you know, the cutoff date is almost upon us. So if you want to do it, you've got to sign up now. Sign up information is on my website. It's www.sandyanastasi.com. Note, another subject, the next psychic hour, December's, the last one of the year, is going to be on December 2nd at 9 p.m. So please note that on your calendar. And if you haven't gone and signed up yet, please, when you're done with this webinar, go and sign right away, because I have a feeling that one's really going to be overcrowded, being it's the last one of the year, and everybody wants to know what's coming up for the new year. So it's going to be a major one. Also, those of you who've been interested in taking psychic development with me, I am going to be doing my psychic development online class again, starting January 17th. So this class goes all the way from January through June. It's very, very intensive. It takes you all the way from the beginner level of developing and learning what your psychic skills are, all the way to where you're able to channel like I do and do mediumship. And it is an absolutely amazing class. And you get to take it online right in your own home with very, very hands-on attention from both me and my assistant, Lisa. So it's a really great class. If you're interested, sign up for it. I think you'll find it on my website already, so you can sign up now. And I do have things coming up that are for early bird enrollment. And again, you're going to start to see newsletters coming out on that, probably starting in the beginning of December. So if you get on board now, you're really early, but you'll still get all those early bird specials. Okay. One last thing, my reading special for November is based on the law of 9. If you're on my newsletter, you already saw that. It talks about 3 past, 3 present, and 3 future things that you can be focusing on, and by becoming fully aware of those things in your own life, things that have happened, that are happening, and that will happen, by becoming fully aware of these and understanding them, you'll finish the reading with a clear understanding of what you need to let go of, what you need to do more of, and what you need to transmute so that it can become a tool for self-growth and evolution as we move into that new year. So it's a real important reading if you're interested in getting something done that's very, very unique and very special. That law of 9 has also got kind of a magical, mystical connotation to it, which is why I decided that I wanted to schedule it for this month of November, right after we had that wonderful time in October with Halloween. Okay, those are my announcements. Now, getting started this evening, I see a lot of new names, new faces on here. So let me explain how this works. And my guides, you'll see if you've been watching me, I'm already going into channel. And so my guides are here with us. And my guides and I are going to be doing readings for as many of you as we can fit in. But please listen, even if the reading isn't for you, because my guides will be addressing your issues, even though I might be talking to someone else. It's absolutely amazing how they do that. They manage to hit everybody here. Okay, so just listen. And also, here's how to go about getting a reading. Raise your hand. You see that little hand in front of you? Raise the hand by clicking on it. And then Lisa will know that you're interested in asking a question. If you don't want to raise the hand, you can also type your question into, I'm not sure if it's the chat room or the question area, but you'll see where you can write. So wherever it is that you're able to write on your screen, type your question in there. And when Lisa sees that question, and she sees a lot of them that are the same, she will either answer it directly herself sometimes, if she can, or she'll forward that question to me and she'll ask it herself for you. So even if you can't get audio, you can still type in your question, and you can still ask it online here tonight. Now, I see a lot of hands up. When Lisa starts calling on people, here's what you do. I would like to know your name and where you're calling from, because that's always very interesting. We get people from all over the world. And I'd like to know what you're most grateful for right now at this moment in your life. And of course, I want to know your sun sign. And so I can locate you here on this chart that you see in front of you, which is called a horary chart that is answering everybody who's online tonight. It will answer all your questions. You'll be amazed at how that works. And then I want your question. So your name, where you're from, what you're most grateful for, your sun sign, your question. 5 things. Okay? Lisa, who is our first victim this evening.
All righty. This is going to be interesting because hands were jumping around like popcorn.
Going up, then
It
going
was
down, then
great.
going up. Yep.
I'm not sure I got them all in order, but I'm going to do my best. All right. And I will tell you now, I'm going to try to get the ones who are newer, who haven't had the opportunity to speak with you. So some of our regulars had their hands raised and they don't get called on in the beginning. That's why, because we try to give everybody a chance. So without further ado, I'm going to go down to the person who has my name. Lisa, you're unmuted.
Hello, Lisa.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can.
I'm well, grateful to be on this webinar for one thing, but my name is Lisa. I'm a Pisces, and I'm very grateful that my cousin just had a baby boy right on the anniversary of my brother's passing and named him for my brother.
Oh, I'm just getting little chills.
Yeah, so it's just an amazing feeling I don't have words for.
Yep. Okay. And let me show you something about you. And where are you calling from, by the way?
I'm calling from the Adirondacks, Lake George, New York.
Oh, I love that area. And, one of my very good friends owned a home up there for many, many years and now lives in Florida. Isn't it a small world? So,
Yeah.
beautiful area. Here you are. I hope you can see my cursor. All of the Pisces on the call this evening, okay? My cursor is right up here at the top of the chart. You'll see that squiggle up there is the symbol for Pisces. This house, the 10th house in astrology, is all about career and how the world sees you and what you want to step forward into in life and what your aspirations are and your life goals. So guess what's on your mind tonight? Okay? And in this 10th house, we have some interesting things going on because that little squiggle here is Chiron. And Chiron is the planetoid of healing. And Uranus talks about sudden change. So this would almost insinuate for you that your little nephew was maybe born a little bit sooner than they expected, a little bit unexpected. It also talks about this birth and the fact that maybe you didn't really know that she was going to name him for your brother being very, very healing for you. Now, the third house from the 10th, this is you. All you Pisces, pay attention. This is important. If this is you, Pisces, the third house over here is your brother or sister, your sibling. Isn't that neat? And in this house is the moon, and it's in Gemini. So this little boy is going to be very close to you emotionally. And this whole time is very, very emotional for you. And this whole Gemini is about the sibling. Isn't that interesting? I wanted to point that out because astrology is, my guides, frankly, are astrologers. That's why I do astrology with my channeling. They are astrologers. So, looking at this, I just love when astrology comes into play so specifically as it just did for you. Now, what does it do for all the Pisces on the call? All of them have stuff going on with their siblings or a close friend. Could be a girl or a boy, either one, but they have stuff going on that's very emotional and very important and digging up things from their past that they're having an opportunity to get healed. All of you are doing the same thing, but you're doing it in your own way, okay? Something else that's very interesting about this is that this whole Pisces, it's opposing, because it's at the 10th house, it's opposing the 4th of home and family, okay? And it's making a hard aspect to the 6th house, which is responsibility. So all of you guys, and it's making a hard aspect over here to the moon and the 12th, so all of you guys are feeling like you have to make, and this is you, Lisa, you have to make some real major changes in your home and family right now because of the tremendous responsibility you're feeling on your own shoulders. And again, this is bringing tremendous emotion out, things that you may not even be conscious of. You need to be aware that you're not overreacting to things, that perhaps you're not mistreating or being abrupt with people that you don't mean to be. For example, you could be hard on your husband or your wife if you have, depending on if you're a male or a female or whatever. You could be having issues where you're picking on other people because the feeling of being under such pressure is such a powerful thing right now. That has to do with this, which is a T square, which focuses its energy into the home and family. So there's a lot of pressure going on. So what is your specific question, Lisa?
No, from the time that my brother passed, like from the very moment that I got the news, I had connection with him, and I've had several experiences since then that I am sure, I feel very certain that I'm connecting with him, or he's communicating with me. My family's a little bit concerned, but I also had another experience where I had a dream about a coworker's family, and when I described to her the people in the dream, she showed me a photograph that matched exactly. So I'm wondering what abilities I have and how I can use them in the healthiest way, especially in my work. I work in a healing field, and I just want, I know that I have to be very careful because I get depleted, and it's very hard for me to kind of stay in balance. That's, maintain my own alignment. So I'm just wondering, if you can see what kind of ability I have and how I might best use it to serve.
Let's say abilities, okay?
Okay.
Again, all you folks who are Pisces and Geminis and Sagittarians and Virgos, the four immutable signs, please listen because there's an overlap here. There are strong similarities. First of all, Pisces is considered one of the most, perhaps the most, psychic sign in the zodiac. And I heard my first astrology teacher myself say, all Pisceans are born old souls. So, put that where it feels right, okay? And I heard, I'm saying I heard because I can't even remember where I read these things. I've read so much. But something that I had read said that Pisceans are born teachers. They're born with knowledge. They don't have to get trained into it. A lot of times Pisceans don't want to get highly educated. They just have the knowledge, but having to sit in the classroom can frustrate them. So you guys tend to make great counselors. Now I'm including all those mutable signs in this part. You make great counselors, you make great communicators, and you're all of the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio now, are very empathic and very super sensitive to other people's feelings. I know I'm kind of moving through a very broad overview, but I'm getting this all astrologically just coming through. Now, Pisces, you have Neptune right here. You can see it. This is Neptune where my cursor is, that little X on here, that little cross. It's in the sign Pisces. Neptune is clairvoyance. So this is why you're able to see people. And now, some Pisces can, some can't. It's not that this is all of you guys, but it is a trait that's really associated with Pisces. Something else that's happening here, though, and I'm going to switch over to this chart, okay, which has Aquarius on the 8th house. And the 8th house is the house where we tend to see talking to the dead, talking to spirits in the afterlife. And so here we have on this particular chart, it doesn't always fall this way, the sign Aquarius, South Node, part of fortune in here, Capricorn's on the cusp. So what I'm going to say, because of your question, remember this is not your natal chart, this is a horary chart that answers your questions. You're in this would be the house behind you. This talks about you being able to get information from people in spirit, from your guides during sleep. It also it says record your dreams because you're going to get great information. It also talks about your being able to learn to channel. So I would say clairvoyance, definitely. Empathy, the moon's over here. Remember, I brought that in. Strong connection to the brother. Most of your connections with him are coming through empathy, but also some telepathic communication that may or may not extend to other people. Definite information in dreams. You can build on all of that information and cause that information to grow. Your Geminis, Sagittarians, Virgos pick up on those same things. the empathy, the ability to get information from dreams, all of you who are on this call tonight, because this chart concerns you, and your ability to pick things up empathically. Now remember, this is not your natal chart, folks. If you had your natal chart done, it will look different. But because you're here on this call, this chart is answering the questions and the abilities here for all of you. Kind of neat, huh? So you said, what are my skills? What are my abilities? Those abilities could be developed to different levels. The ability that for you, Lisa, is going to be the most strong is clairvoyance. Okay? And that would be being able to either see things or see things in your mind or get communications, be it pictures in your mind or even outside of yourself, seeing shadows. Sometimes you'll actually see something outside of yourself that nobody else sees. And that's called clairvoyance. Now I want to address something else that you said, because there are many other people on this call that also have this issue. Your family is being concerned. Two things that we need you to, actually three things we need you to do that are going to help. Number one, go to my YouTube channel, and there you are going to find a whole list of psychic protection tips.
Yes, I've looked at those.
Read
Yes.
them, practice them, learn them, employ them. And pay particular attention to the things that keep you grounded.
Yeah.
And that's going to make your family feel more secure.
Okay.
Second thing, and this is going to be easy for you because there's Virgo on the bottom of this horary chart, and Virgo is all about discrimination. It's about seeing things in black and white and being picky and picking them apart to know if they're real or not. So, very important that every time you get information, backtrack it like you said you did with that picture where the woman showed you the picture. Get confirmation, get confirmation, get confirmation. If you don't get confirmation, put it on a back shelf and say, well, maybe. Okay? And that's going to be one of those things that helps to keep you grounded. And of course, you're giving me a great opportunity here to push my psychic development classes. If you can all do it, join me in January and take that class, because it's going to give you the ability to stay grounded, to stay living in the real world like a real person, and yet be able to develop and open all these skills and abilities. And guess what? Your family will learn to appreciate what you can do instead of being fearful that you're going down the booby hatch. Okay?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. And incidentally, I want to add one thing. In addition, this Capricorn in the 8th house tells me that there are a lot of people on this call this evening who are interested in pursuing their psychic skills to a professional level. And I think you could be one of them. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you
And my
very much.
condolences about your brother.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all that. I feel like that now I need to take a really deep breath. It's like that was the whole hour. Wow, that was very, very important. Folks, I have a feeling that my guides were talking to half of this crew. So write down what pertained to you about all that information that just came through for Lisa. And I want to tell Lisa, I am very grateful for you being on here this evening and opening with that very, very oh so important question. Okay? Lisa, who do you have down next?
Ready. The next person that we're going to is Christine. Christine, you are unmuted.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Christine. I'm good. How are you?
I'm thrilled. I'm so excited.
Good.
Super happy to be here. So my name is Christine, and I'm from Centennial, Colorado, which is the Denver area. I'm an Aquarius, and I am just beyond grateful to be on this call. Just really excited that I showed up and I'm here, and to be in like-minded spirits. So it's wonderful. So,
what's your specific question?
Specific question is really, and it's really kind of going on exactly what you just said. So I think yes, that's your first. It's very connected. I left my job about 5 months ago to pursue my mediumship. Yes, intuitive coaching business.
Okay, hold on.
So
I've got to show our callers. Here's Christine. She's an Aquarian. She's in the 8th house that talks about psychic development and mediumship with Capricorn business right on the cusp. Does she belong here? You betcha. Keep going, Christine.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. I mean, I don't know why we're always surprised, right? It's like
I just love it.
it always cracks me up. So I never thought I'd start my own business. Huge leap of faith. With all my, I've had tons of loss in my life, and I think that I'm just looking for additional guidance and validation that am I on the right path, and what more do I do? Because from the out, everybody's like, you're doing everything right, and I'm like, I know, but clients are coming in slowly, and I know marketing sustainability, but you begin to question a lot of stuff when you watch the bank accounts going down, and it was like, did I jump too fast? Did I, whatever. So,
well, here's the first thing you need to know. I think that the mere fact that you're on here and you were the second caller right after that question that led right into pursuing the professional, career as a psychic, medium, channel, tarot reader, astrologer, anything in that field, and you called in and here you are. I think that, synchronicity, that is direct confirmation. You had no control over being called next. You had no idea that this was going to come up as the very first topic on the call this evening. So there's your guides setting you up for that confirmation. Okay.
Yeah.
What I've got here, though, I don't know if you have the capability of doing this, but actually my guides are saying you do, that you may be able to get some additional funding. And I don't know if this is from a credit union, from a bank, but it's not your personal resources. It's funding coming from another source. It might even be funding that comes through the Facebook funding system. But there's funding from outside that's available here that you should be taking a look at. They're also saying that because of this sign, your sign being Aquarius, and Aquarius being in this 8th house, that you have this unique skill of bringing groups and bringing people together, okay? And that's another thing that you can look at, because you may be able to develop a better clientele by creating affiliates, either online or with stores or mediumship churches, spiritualist churches around you. Develop affiliates, find physical places that you can connect with, groups, organizations that will host you. You can give them a better rate. They can bring you in. You are going to need to develop a lot of marketing techniques that you have not got yet. If I had spoken with you, and now this is Sandy coming in here, the good old grounded, practical Sandy. If I had spoken with you prior to your quitting your job, I would have said, let's build that business up at night and weekends until it can pay the rent, and then take the plunge. Now, notice that I would have told that to you, but I do want to tell you that when I took the plunge some 38 years ago, I went from making $30,000 as a safety engineer to $5,000 as a psychic.
Yes.
Okay. But within a year had made the difference up and was making that same money that I was making as a safety engineer. Okay. Yeah. So my guides are saying, make sure you tell her that, because you are certainly capable of doing that. The North Node is in this 2nd house. It has Cancer on the cusp. This is pertaining to all the Aquarians, the Scorpios, the Taurians, and don't forget the Leos. Okay. All of you right now are making a plunge into something that's financially taking a chance from your point of view. And because Cancer is on the cusp here, that's the most insecure of the signs, you are fearful. All of you are taking the same situation. There's a fearful around you. Well, guess what? I'm going to look at that from a positive point of view. That little bit of fear is extremely motivational. And you are going to make this work. I have absolutely no doubt. You have the skill, you have the ability, you have the support system of the friends and the people around you, and you have just enough fear to set a fire under your tail.
Yeah.
Did that help?
Yeah, I think, you said, and it's one of those balances, because, I know this is my calling. I know it is my service. And so I do it to help and to heal. And I also need to put food on the table and pay the mortgage, so I actually had a woman put on my Facebook page that how dare I charge for my readings and, all that. And I just blocked her and said, send her on her way. But
I also want to interject now that I do have a class. You can probably talk to Lisa about it. And it will come up again. And I'm going to suggest that you and anybody else who's on here who's trying to form a business with their psychic or metaphysical area of interest, I suggest you take it. It is about forming and setting up and making that business work. And the reason that, I can do this with people and make them, I have so many students who have gone out to become professional psychics, professional psychic teachers, astrologers, tarot readers, you name it in the field. The reason I have so many of them is because my feet are on the ground, I'm practical, but I've opened and closed many businesses and made them all successful. So I know how to do this, okay? And I also do private coaching in that area. But the class is lesser expensive, very inexpensive, as a matter of fact. It was $150 for 3 sessions that could actually get your business on the road, okay? And I will be teaching that again next year. If you're on my newsletter, you'll find out when it gets listed. And, of course, it's always on my website.
Perfect. Yes. No, I've been looking at your classes and wanting to get started with them on your newsletter. So it's
yep.
Yes.
You're going to be successful, though. Now, let me just add one more thing in. This grand trine says you are a fabulous communicator. You're able to communicate what you, not just in the mediumship, but what you pick up psychically and empathically, okay? Don't try, I'm going to give you this word of advice. Don't box yourself into a corner with just mediumship. Your mediumship is good, and it will be the thing which gives you the acclaim, the recognition, but the things that are going to keep your clients returning are going to be the things that you can tell them, as you do, about how to work through issues in their life, about how to make their life better, about their future, okay? Yeah. So what I'm saying is to be more than a medium, be all that you can be. And yes. People are going to come back to you because you're making such a difference in their lives, okay?
Oh, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome. Lisa, who is next?
Alrighty, our next victim is going to be Ash.
Hello there, Ash.
If I can't get it unmuted. You're self-muted, Ash. Can you unmute that?
There you
go.
go.
I get it?
I hear you, yes.
Awesome. Hi, my name's Ash. I live in Homer, Alaska, and I think I'm most grateful for finding my home. And this is definitely it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've just come across the abilities this past year or so, and really something happened last week, and I feel like I'm just falling head over heels, and this town there's something weird going on in this town, and it's really funny how it's coming right before this seminar, because I guess I want to know, how do I not tumble down this slippery slope and maybe be able to ground myself, because I'm having trouble separating myself from all of it right now, and it's extremely difficult, especially when you have so many people around you that are also aware of everything that's going on.
Ash, what's your sign?
Cancer.
Okay, here you are on the other side of the chart, the second house, and it's 28 degrees, so you're mostly this whole first house, see that? But you're also the second house, which is about money, okay? But that first house is about finding yourself, which is kind of what you're doing right now. Ash, my guides are telling me that this isn't just about the whole psychic field. This is also about a relationship. It's about falling in love with a person. It's about falling in love with a whole area. It's about kind of being overwhelmed by everything happening at once. Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
And one of your biggest fears, I'm sorry, you're going to find this out about me. I have no alternative except to be direct and blunt. Either you get the information as it comes through or you don't get it, okay?
Right.
So You've had past relationships. If you see in this Hori chart that Pluto up there in the seventh house. And by the way, if you are a Cancer and you're on this call, you've got the same issue. Okay. So you had past relationships that were very over controlling. Okay. And you're having a very deep seated fear that's coming deep out of your subconscious mind that says, if I give myself over to all this that's happening to me right now, relationship, place, the psychic energy all around me, that if I do this, I will lose control. And like you said, I'll tumble down the rabbit hole and never come up again. And what if it's bad for me? Okay. When you go out by yourself into the woodlands around you, into the land around you, and you tune into the earth you're standing on. I've been to Alaska. How do you feel, Ash?
Amazing.
Because honestly, there were only three maybe places in the world that I've been that I was able to feel that incredibly blended with the earth. One was in the African Serengeti, the other was in Australia, and the third was in Alaska. So I think that all you've really got to do is attach yourself to the earth and feel nature, and you're going to get grounded. You're in a great place to ground, okay? So the things that are getting to you aren't really being lack of grounding. It's almost being overwhelmed by a sense of, I want to say, peace, or that you never had before. It's almost like you don't know how to deal with a world that's not shooting stuff at you every 30 seconds. There's something else to run to, and you're having difficulty dealing with that. Is everybody here online giggling along with me? Okay. It's like, oh my God, there's no noise. What do I do? I need some noise so I can ground. And I'm talking about the noise in the head, the noise from all the people yelling and talking and all the stuff going on. And you've got an opportunity to look at this first house, to find yourself in a way that you have never found yourself before. And it's not about the relationship partner. That's only past drivel coming up. It's about you. Okay? Really getting in touch with you and deciding what you want. And then actually being able to go after it and do it for a change.
Yes.
And what happens, I'm playing devil's advocate, what happens if you get halfway down the rabbit hole and you decide that it's not for you? What happens?
I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does, I do have the lower 48, and I can always escape too.
Right on. You just say, this was a really great tour. It was fun. I'm done now. What's lost? Nothing. What's gained? A fabulous experience. Did I get it?
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, I absolutely get it.
I don't think that you have any bad stuff coming your way. I think that the bad stuff is mostly in your past, okay? And it's important that you don't let the past color your future, okay?
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
And Lisa, who's next?
Our next victim is Decca. You are unmuted.
Hello, Decca. Hello. You can talk. You're unmuted. But I'm not hearing you. I'm still not hearing you. This is interesting because I can see the mic unmuted, but I cannot hear your voice. Okay, Lisa, we're going to need to move on. But meanwhile, if Decca can keep seeing where that mic is, I'm suspecting that she may not know where the mic on the computer is. Who's next?
No, and she comes back.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to try Daphne.
Hello, Daphne.
Daphne, you're unmuted.
Uh, Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello. Oh, terrific. This is so awesome. Oh my God, I'm excited. um, so my name is Daphne. I just moved to Los Angeles. I'm a Cancer. June 23rd is my birth date. And a lot of what you said to the last person, I feel like pertains to me in just a freaky, scary way. I literally right now, I want to say a week ago, I had a little ceremony where I just said goodbye to negative energy attachments from the past. And I actually went and got a little helium balloon and I wrote everything down and I tied it up in a helium balloon and I let it go.
I love it.
And doing that, it truly is my intention to let it go because, as you stated, this next piece is really about finding myself. I moved to LA. Oh, wait, I didn't say what I'm grateful for. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for being in a place where I can recognize that I need to get rid of these negative attachments and forgive everything of everybody so that I can cleanly move forward.
That's awesome. That is just
Uh,
awesome.
it's
Well,
I'm sorry.
I honestly don't know what I would have to add to that, Daphne, from the chart. You are living what the chart is saying. You're living it. And what I do want to add is I think that was absolutely beautiful. I'm going to ask you if you mind if I borrow that because I would love to turn that into a psychic protection tip for people. The balloon.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Fabulous, and I'll give you credit for it. I promise you. Daphne,
Awesome.
you want me to use your last name too?
Sure, if you like. It's
What's your
Huggins.
last name?
Huggins.
H-U.
Ggins.
Okay. Daphne, you're going to be in my psychic protection tip, if not next month, the beginning of the year. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, 'cause that's a really good
Absolutely,
one.
absolutely. It was just a very freeing thing, and I felt like I can't step into my future. What I want to achieve next, I can't step into it with just uncleanliness
And
from
thank
the
you for
past.
sharing that because that's very instructional for the other Cancers, Libras, Aries, and Capricorns on tonight's call, all the cardinal people, and that really pertains a lot to my psychic reading for this month, because this is what you're talking about is how can you move forward if you're carrying that baggage? And
Right,
you
right.
need
And
to,
I don't want to move forward anymore carrying this baggage. I've done it for so
yeah.
long in secret,
And
weird,
the thing is,
sneaky ways.
if you study the Abraham Hicks material, which is so world renowned right now, anything that
Hmm.
you put your attention into, anything you put your thought into, gets magnified. Okay, and if you
Yeah,
have something that you're dragging along behind you that you either have resentment for, or that you feel bad about, or you're depressed about, or you're anxious about it, and you keep rethinking it, every time you rethink it, you pull it back. So if you're trying to move ahead and get away from all that stuff, but you keep
yes,
dwelling on it and thinking about it, you can't possibly move ahead. You keep just recreating the same
yes.
circumstances and the same situations, just with different faces on them. Okay?
That's right. That's right.
So,
That's
oh
exactly right.
wow, what a fabulous, I don't know if you studied this stuff or if you just intuited it, but man, you got it. Okay? And the balloon trick, fabulous. The only thing I would add to it
Uh,
is I would actually write on a little piece of paper all the things you wanted to get rid of, and I'd stuff them in the balloon before I blew it up.
oh,
So
I'll have to do that next time.
you still add that little extra thing, you know. It's just
I
fun.
will do that.
It's
Thank you.
really a great idea, though. I love it. And here you are. You're a water sign, trining into Chiron, healing planet attached to the midheaven. This is your aspirations, your career, what you want to do with your life. Trining into Sun and Jupiter in the fifth house. Creatively, how I want to get away from the past. It's right here in
Yeah.
the chart. It's all over the chart. Okay. Now down here, I want to separate from the past because I want to put on rocket shoes. I want to blast off to the future, right?
Right.
Venus, what I
Right.
want. Jupiter, travel, aspiration, education. Sun, me. And Mercury, my communication. And we have the signs Libra, Scorpio, and Sag all lined up here. Wow. Okay. This is big. And so what are your aspirations? Because that's really, I mean, you're poised. You're ready to jump.
I have, it's sort of twofold. One is I've done some stand-up a little bit for the last year or so. I would like to write more. I moved to LA specifically to get more involved in
Okay, based
that and
on
to,
this chart, just show here, the stand-up, I'm assuming that's comedy. Here it is, fifth house is your creativity. You think on your feet, you can base, apparently, here on this call, you're thinking your words carefully, but when you're up in front of that, group, it just comes straight out. And it
yeah.
has a neat connection to the house of communication with Leo. This is a Leo house. This is the house of communication. So there's very strong communication, the ability to be super creative, stand up in front of people, give that information out. Not so much right now in the area of writing. Writing would be planets in this house. They're not there. So I'm thinking that right now should be your information gathering, okay? Right now should be your stand-up comedy. It should be anything that you can land in that entertainment field that puts you out front, and you should be taking copious notes, okay? Because what you're doing is creating the stuff that's going to be put into the communication at a later date, and it's not going to be what you think it is right now. It could be, for example, you're writing your it could be you're writing your memoirs. It could be you're writing something very creative about the people that you're doing your comedy for. It's all I can tell you is it's not what you think it's going to be. When you do write it, it will be different. It will be very, very creative. And you're not there yet. You're gathering. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
The question is, how can I be successful? Absolutely, you can be successful with your comedy, and you can be successful with your stand-up comedy. And you really are a performer. It's more than comedy. You can do the whole scale of emotions.
I'm definitely looking forward to my time here for sure. I feel like I might be clairsentient, and it's something that I've been trying to, I don't know, sort of muddle through and figure out. And I don't know if this is even a time for me to try to figure that out and develop it, or do I just move forward with, one of the callers said, when you watch your bank account dwindling down, I'm like literally like under $50 at this point and desperate and just trying to figure out a direction to go, and I'm trying to find a job and just craziness. Do I worry about creativity now and psychic development later? Is clairsentient?
My comment to you, and we really need everybody on the call to listen to this, okay? You need to narrow, okay? Instead of saying, I want to do this, 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 and force it, okay? When you find yourself forcing something, there's a reason that something's blocked right now. The flow's not open there. So step back and expand your awareness again. Which door's open? And it may not be the door you want at this moment, but if it's the door that's going to put food on the table, it's the door that's going to work in this moment. So what you do is you put your energy and attention on the long distance goal and say, in the long run, that's what I want. Okay? I want to stand up in front of these people. I want to be a success. I want to make everything of this journey. But in the short term, what's the most expedient way for me to get food on the table, for me to get my foot in the door? Okay, universe, show it to me and look around, and it's going to be there. The reason people end up not being able to be successful is because they narrow down their perspective and they want only this because that's what they think they saw in their head, or that's what they set their ambition on. And they don't even see the person over there standing in the door saying, here I am, come on. And it looks like it's going the wrong way. But in the long run, it's not. Sometimes a zag takes you in and out to exactly where you want to be.
Okay.
So learn flexibility. So I can tell you right now that you can be very, very successful. but your journey is going to lead you in a direction that's totally different than what you think it's going to be.
Really? Okay.
Okay? And it still
Okay.
could be in the area of theater, movies. It still could be in that area. Okay?
Sure.
But it's not going to be what you think it's going to be. So you've got to increase your flexibility. So maybe you take a job waiting tables to pay the bills, and on weekends you're going to go be an extra in films. The thing is, you're going to go around and see what's available, knowing all the while that you want to develop to the utmost potential of who you can be. You see what I'm saying?
I think I see what you're saying.
And as far as your clairsentience, absolutely. You have a tremendous amount of psychic ability. And I think that you've already been getting clobbered over the head that says, well, I'm here, but what's my next step? And you've been trying to over-control it, and so it hasn't been happening.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's one of your issues.
That is true.
Okay, I've got to move on because I want to try and hit at least.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate your time.
And Lisa, who's next?
All right, the next person is going to be Renice. Renice.
Hello, Renice.
If I can unmute.
Are we
You're self-muted.
Yeah, are we pronouncing your name right, Renice? That's a beautiful name. Love it.
First, we have to get her unmuted before she can answer that.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, you muted yourself again after you unmuted yourself. So try again. You were unmuted. There you go.
There she goes.
Can you hear me?
I can.
How are you this evening?
I'm good. Very good. Thank you for asking. So,
Thank
you are Renice from?
I am from New York. I'm a Libra, and I'm happy, very grateful for my beautiful daughter.
And I know how I love my astrology, right? Here you are,
yes.
Libra. You recognize your sun on the 5th house, and the 5th house is the child, and there's your daughter. Don't you love it, folks? In the first words out of her mouth, she said, see, this chart's right tonight. Cool, I like it. And you know, your daughter is a very special person. You're right, okay? We've got Venus, Jupiter, Sun, Mercury in this house, all describing her as well as you, okay? So this is a time of travel and education and all kinds of expansion and beautiful stuff and communication. And does Renice have I don't know what her age level is, but if she's an adult, I'd expect she's thinking about having a child. If she's a kid herself, you might be expecting another child. Can you clarify that for me?
She's a child. She's actually only 14, but I'm in the midst of getting a divorce, and her dad's new fiance is having a child, and my daughter is not very happy about it.
Yeah, but you know, it is going to work out, okay? It all depends, and I know as a Libra, you just love for me to say this, it all depends on how you handle it. So, you know, your daughter is going to feel like she's in competition with this kid, but if you handle it properly, like, well, your dad will always love you, and you have me, and isn't it nice to have a little one around? She'll do fine, okay?
Right.
What's interesting here, though, I think the real issue with dad having the child isn't the child, it's that your daughter is afraid of losing her dad, okay? And if her dad and you handle your divorce properly, I don't hate to use that term, properly relative to how your daughter goes through it too. You get it? There's not a right or wrong. There's only what's right for you. Okay, I want to make that real clear, folks. We have too many rights and wrongs and expectations in our society. What works for you and what works for your daughter, that's what's right for you. Okay? But
absolutely,
if it's handled in the quote unquote right for you way, then your husband's going to be able to have a very good relationship with both of his kids, but it will be different. And the key here is for him to treat your daughter, guess what? As an adult. And that might be a little tricky for him, which is why my guides are saying it really has a lot to do with you, which is unusual because usually, when there's a divorce, if dad has an issue, it's dad's problem, you see. But either it's because you're closer to your daughter or perhaps you just understand the situation better, but you have got the ability already to treat your daughter as an adult. So even though she's 14, you can sit down and communicate with her like she's a real whole person, you see. Her father has some difficulty with that. And as he bridges that gap and recognizes that that's the best way to communicate with her, they'll do fine because that little one is so far behind her, there won't be any disconnect there. Does that help a little?
Yeah, absolutely. That's her fear, that she's going to lose her dad. And I keep explaining to her, just because another baby's coming along doesn't mean daddy doesn't hold you very close in his heart, and his love for you will never change.
Yeah, that's exactly what this chart's saying, and that's what I see. And I honestly think, and I know this is very, very hard for you. Here we come now to the rest of this chart. There's a hard angle with this Pluto. You're feeling like you've been very manipulated and controlled and that there's been secrecy, et cetera, around this whole thing. You don't feel good about it at all. Here's the opposition to Uranus. When you found out about everything, sorry about being this blunt, it was like a punch to the gut. It was like, huh? So I want to give you a really big compliment because you've been going through a very difficult situation and you really have put the entire family first, which is typical of Libra, okay? But I want to tell you, you've been doing a real good job. And as a result, guess what? There's always a payoff for you. The payoff is that you yourself have been growing in leaps and bounds. And you're becoming a person who's far, far, how can I say it, more expanded, more knowledgeable, more insightful, more grounded. You're becoming the matriarch in the family as a result of all these experiences you're going through. You're not seeing it yet because this has been such an emotional time period, but as each day and each month and each year progresses, you're going to realize that, frankly, this is setting you free to become you, and you never were free before. But, it's hard for me to tell you that right now because you don't see it yet. Give it about maybe 14 months, and you are going to be saying, wow, life is good, and I am so glad I'm where I am now, okay? So things are moving in the right direction for you, too. I know everybody always wants to know, will there be another man in my life? And I'm going to tell you, eventually, yes. In the short term, no. Okay? And you already knew that, didn't you?
Now, what do you mean in the short term? Like soon, or in the short term as it would be a short relationship, like it wouldn't be a lasting relationship?
Both. That was yes to both. Okay?
Okay.
So what happens is that for you right now, there are short flurries. There's an opportunity, no. There's an opportunity, no. There's more intellectual friendship options, okay? You do not realize it, but subconsciously this is what you're putting out there because you're not ready to take the plunge into another relationship that's going to consume you again. Mostly what you want to do is to find, guess what? That Cancer stuff we were talking about before? Find yourself, okay? And one of the ways you're going to do it is by exploring relationships, but something that's a long-term permanent relationship, I think it's going to be about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Now, will she ever have another sibling that is by you? Yes, she will. And it's quite possible that it'll be a natural birth for you as well. So.
Ooh. Well, I'm 46. I wasn't expecting that one.
Well, stranger things have happened. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did want to know, am I with the right lawyer?
Initially, no. In the long run, yes, if you're patient. Your concern is, am I going to get the right amount of money? But I also want to tell you that, initially, you're angry with your husband about this, but he kept, can I be very blunt? I don't really like to talk about this kind of thing on the open air.
Yeah.
Okay, because this does get posted on YouTube. Okay? Just so you know that. Initially, you were very disturbed because you you felt that he was holding things back so that you'd be nicer. Okay? So the attorney did make some mistakes, but he didn't really, the attorney didn't really make mistakes because they were his mistakes. They were you having a different point of view, you see? But as things have progressed and you realize things aren't really what you thought they were, now you're in the right place. Now you're into, I'm looking out for me and my daughter. Okay? And that is the place that you need to be in. And armed with that, your attorney is now looking at, well, why didn't I know this stuff before? You see? So anything that you can dig up, anything that you can, and you will have to be hard-nosed to get things where they need to be. But remember, you're protecting yourself and you're protecting your daughter. Okay?
Right. Yes, because I did switch lawyers, and the new lawyer that I'm with, I'm kind of not feeling the energy between us.
Yeah.
Don't feel like he's really fighting the way he's, I'm just, I'm not feeling very comfortable with him.
Yeah. Why did you switch lawyers?
Things that actually my parents had gotten sick, and after one had passed, another one got sick. The other one got sick right away, and taking care of that, and kind of running out of money, that I put everything on hold. And I wound up just getting a new lawyer because I wasn't happy with the other lawyer. So.
Well, I just asked my guides if you should stick with the lawyer that you're with right now, and I'm getting a yes. But you're probably going to have to sit on them. Okay? And the person who's doing most of the work isn't the main lawyer. It's a woman in his office. Find out who she is and sit on her. Okay? Because she's gathering the stuff you need. And she's good.
Okay.
It always helps to know the attorney's staff. Okay?
Yeah. He's actually an ex-Supreme Court judge.
Okay.
And I hired him because I figured, he'd have the more experience, but very, very expensive and very hard to talk to.
Well, this is why it's going to be important to get somebody in his office that's easier to talk to. And remember, it's not about telling your story. It's about giving him the information he's going to need and the proof he's going to need to be able to get the most out of the situation so that you guys are protected in the long run. That's where I see your focus going for the near future. And it's important. You're not a battler. You want things to just flow. Right now, you got to take up arms. Okay?
Yes, absolutely. You're 100% right.
Good luck to you.
Thank you, and God bless you. Have a beautiful evening.
Thank you very much. And I know we're over time, but Lisa, I want to try and squeeze in one more person. We'll just make this a quick one. So, who's our next and last victim?
All right, the last person tonight is going to be Helen. Helen, you're self-muted.
Helen, you got to unmute on your end.
Hello.
There you go. Hello, Helen.
Hello, my name's Helen. I am from Australia, Tasmania, and I'm a Cancer. And I'm very grateful for the place I live in, for my family, and to be on this show.
Awesome. And we're grateful to have you. Love my Aussie friends, boy. You live in a beautiful, beautiful country. It's just amazing. Like I said to that earlier caller, one of the very few places on the planet that when you just root into the earth, you can just totally feel the pulse of the planet. It's pretty.
Yeah, that is true. That is so true.
Yep. And
Beautiful place.
you heard all the wonderful things I said about cancers earlier. So right to your question.
Yes, I feel it's almost answered everything I was thinking of at the time. I'm sort of at a crossroads in my life at the moment, and I'm just wondering how to proceed.
There's something that keeps dragging you back to the past. I'm going to refer back when you get your recording of this. Remember the gal with letting the balloon go, Daphne Huggins. Do
Yes.
the balloon ritual. Do it because it's going to help you. You're being held
Yes.
back. it's I don't know if it's a family issue or a relationship in the past.
It's a family issue.
And you're just,
Yeah.
you can be so free and so independent, and your sense of responsibility and guilt and all these other negative emotions, and you just keep getting trapped in the repetitive cycle, and there's nothing can be done about it. It is what it is, and it's not ever going to change. And you know that, but you keep hoping, and so stick it in the balloon and get rid of it.
Thank you. That's, I think, what I need to do.
Yeah, it is, because when you're free of that, it's like you can accomplish anything, and you can be happy. You can be in the relationship you want. You can have the family situation you want. You can be financially independent. But as long as you keep recycling, you're going nowhere. You're just treading water, and it doesn't. You don't move forward. Okay.
That's very true. Treading water seems to be where I've been at for a few years, and I recognise that I do need to move on. But it's it's hard.
Yes, it's always hard. It's always hard. I just want you to know, so you don't feel so bad. I don't care what experience level or evolutionary level or spiritual level somebody is at. All of us, while we're here on the physical plane, we all are dealing with the same issues because we are on the physical plane. And so periodically you are going to get pulled back into those past emotional issues or those past dilemmas. And the good part, I heard this in a recording I was listening to myself recently. The good part, this was Eckhart Tolle told this.
I love it.
You get reborn. Right, it's like being reborn over and over again, only all in one life. And each time you get suckered back into the old cycle, but then you wake up again and you do something about it. And then eventually you get suckered back in and you wake up again. And each one of those is like a rebirth, right? Well,
That's
what he says is that the good thing is that as you become more aware and more conscious, there's less time going down the wrong path and having to go through the rebirth. But we all do it. We all stray from the path eventually, periodically. We all make those mishaps. It's normal and it's natural. And like when you're meditating and your mind drifts, when you catch it saying, oh, mind drifted, I'll get back to meditation. Same
yeah.
in life. I got sidetracked into this old family issue, can't resolve it. Put in the balloon, let it go. Okay,
Yeah.
back on track. Okay?
Yeah.
And yes, it's hard. But once you recognized it was only a sidetrack, and it's not my karma, and it's not my issue, and I can't fix it, I can only hold space.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, thank you, Cindy, for making time for me at the very end.
And
thank you, everyone.
That was a question I think belongs to a lot of people on this call. So thank you for asking that great, great question. Folks, it's always a pleasure to have everyone here on these psychic hours. I want to thank you very much for coming. Remind you, please sign up for my newsletter. If you want to take my psychic cruise, time is really, really crucial. So do that right away, like tomorrow. It's important if you want to go. Look into my psychic development classes starting in January. They're going to be great. And watch out for my monthly specials that are going to be coming up through November and December, because this is that great happy holiday time of the year. Everybody in the U.S., have a happy Thanksgiving coming up soon. If you're outside of the country, well, happy Thanksgiving anyway, because everybody deserves it. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.